All right.
Ooh, too much.
We're here. Did you just give her a sip, dude?
Yeah. He likes it.
We won't tell anybody. So I got my bang. He's got his special concoction, dude. It's the most one-of-a-kind drink I've ever fucking seen. Cheers.
Cheers.
What do you got in there?
Chocolate milk and whipped cream, 99 bananas.
It's insane.
It works, right?
All right. So welcome to, let's see. This is... Bentley was 4, Troy's 5. Kanode Knows number 6, featuring Jeremy Hacker, a.k.a. Zuka. And, I'm just trying to think of like something cool and funny to say on the way, like an introduction or some shit. But you just been like a big time name in the Arizona BMX scene for as long as I can remember. I'm trying to remember, like, how did we meet, dude? I forget.
I'm sure it was at a skate park.
Yeah.
It would have to be at a skate park.
Probably Glendale, right? Or maybe like with Clay, it was like Goodyear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My memory is pretty
fucked.
vague at that point.
Yeah.
I can't remember much.
I was told that you sold weed to Corey Nastasio once.
A couple times, actually.
Let's talk about that, dude. What was that like? How did that even come up?
Well, I got a lot of good friends, old friends. Honestly, I don't want to name names, but Greg Latecki.
Yeah. He's
good friends with Corey, so.
He's the shit, Greg Latecki.
Yeah, and, being the hook for such a long time, I guess I was the one to call.
Yeah, you were the plug.
Yeah. For a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much how it worked out. He came and kicked it on the couch, and we got to shoot the shit. And
yeah.
I remember watching him on Crank and a lot of old videos, like when he was on bully bikes, I think it was way
OG
back
shit.
in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I love Corey, man. He's the shit.
Yeah,
honestly.
He's a character, huh?
For sure, dude. He is crazy.
I feel like I've maybe talked to him for a split second somewhere, like an Interbike or something. It's just his fucking energy, his vibe is like, whoa, all right, man.
It's wild.
It's contagious too. He's a party man.
Yeah, I'd have to say so.
I heard he's doing pretty well. Like,
I hope so. Honestly, I haven't.
It's funny I say that just because I've seen like new clips of him on Instagram, which is pathetic. That's the way we know shit nowadays. But I think he's doing well. He's like clean and sober from what I know. I don't know. He's killing it. I was also told by that same person. This is Robbie Digital hitting me with some fucking insider shit, and he said that the way you guys became friends was because of like you got in trouble on the east side somehow, and then they moved you to the west side. So you were living somewhere out here, like
I was living in this house. This is
very
my
house?
roommate, which is my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually selling weed at the time, and I was like actually 15 years old in high school, and I got in trouble at school and got expelled, and grandparents weren't happy, and they were all about tough love, and it was either move out to the west side with my aunts or go to like military school.
Damn.
And I think my aunts talked my grandparents out of it because they were more of like, let's love him and see how he does.
Yeah.
And that was a much better approach for me.
Holy shit. How much different would your life be if you went to military school?
God, I probably would have hated everybody, and been a cop or some stupid shit. Like, just an angry at life, But moving in with my aunts, like out west, was the best thing that happened to me. Yeah. Definitely. It got me out of a lot of drama.
Yeah, I heard that your aunts held it down. Like, they'd take you on trips and shit, and they're super supportive for, like, BMX.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they bought me a frame, like my first terrible one, like the nicest bike I ever owned after I had my GT Fueler. Sick. And broke that in half pretty much. But, like, yeah, we talked about my aunts. Like aunts as in like two, like my aunts and her girlfriend at the time. So like lesbian love.
Big love.
Yeah, but
shout out lesbian.
I was raised by women, and I think that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a father growing up, so that's just the way it went, and I think that was.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy, but it's normal now.
Yeah. When did riding start? Were you like selling weed out here when you were 15? Like, were you riding bikes?
No, at that time I was screwing up in school. I was just kind of angry little kid. Like not
Just being a
angry
little
so much.
shit.
Yeah, just like being a pain in the ass, not doing what my grandparents wanted me to do.
Mhm.
I rode for a long time, but then I stopped. I didn't have the same people to ride with all the time because they were getting older.
Yeah.
'cause at 15, that's right around everybody turning 16, getting their car, and,
Yeah.
doing their own thing.
Yep.
So, I stopped riding, and that was the reason why it's so good that I went to the West Side is because I met Clay, Robbie, and all the other bikers out there.
Yeah.
You
How'd
know,
you
and
guys meet?
Actually, my aunt, they went to the store and they seen a bunch of kids riding, and they stopped. And one of my aunt's girlfriend at the time was a character, and she came up to the guys and was like, "Hey, my nephew rides," and like she referred to herself as Homer, like Homer Simpson,
Yeah.
which is kind of odd, but it was,
I'm Homer. This is my nephew Zuka.
right. And she's with her girlfriend or whatever, and so she told them where I lived, and then one day, like a whole group of kids on bikes showed up at the door.
Sick.
Yeah, I didn't know any of them at the time, so like
That's so fucking rad, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
and right across the street, like honestly, across the street and over like 100 yards, there was a little couple dirt jumps,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Hey, let's go over here and ride," and like we started riding and stuff, and like I was doing tricks that they were like, "Oh my god, like who is this dude? Like
Yeah.
he's good," and that's where it
From the
started.
start. Holy shit. That's fucking awesome, dude.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
What year is this? Like 16?
Yeah, actually,
You're about
the
16?
day they came to my house was the day I got my cast off, because actually, shit, that's. Yep, no. I was 16 years old when they ended up coming out.
Sick. And that's like Clay and Robbie were in that crew or whatever?
Yep, they all showed up, and there was like 5 other kids too.
This is like 20 years ago, huh?
Yeah, almost
How old are you now?
34.
Yeah, 20. That's fuck.
Pretty darn close.
That's a long time ago now. What were the tricks that you were doing that they were impressed with?
That was like my favorite trick at the time was the no footy can.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember. I think I might have done a 360 over the dirt jump.
Sick.
And I think I actually learned turn downs too, like right around then. Because like I took such a long break, and that was like the one trick that like always I couldn't do before, but when I thought about it and like had such a long break, I just figured out how to do it somehow, and I went and I did it. And that
Nice.
was like how it happened.
Get the fuck out of here. You just learn it in your head without having a fucking...
Yeah, I think breaks on
Struggle.
bikes honestly helps a lot for learning stuff, because you
Yeah,
spend so
taking a
much time
break.
thinking
Yeah.
about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and if that's the case, then I should be able to do fucking bar spins like a motherfucker, dude. 'Cause I sit and think about it. I can visualize it.
If you
and
can
I just-
visualize it, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, dude. No, it's not. Doing it is the hardest part,
Well, I
dude.
guess you're right, but before that happens, you
I know
gotta
what
start
you're saying.
some.
Yeah, I remember like the little kid down the street from me when I first started like pedaling around the neighborhood with homies was Evan, and he was the wild one doing like just big no footers, like, and no footers looked insane, and just like maybe a one hander or maybe a no hander, I don't remember, but just like those beginning tricks, man, it's pretty wild. So then let's see, what bike do you think you were riding back then?
Well,
The
depends
terrible
on.
one or no?
That was a little later.
Yeah.
But I was still riding that GT Fueler. I rode that for quite a while.
Yeah.
Love that bike, honestly. One of
Yeah.
my favorite bikes to the day, but I think it was mainly because my idols had rode it.
Yep.
And,
Who are your idols back then?
like Little Lip Joey.
Never heard of it. I don't know. Yeah.
He had a clothing little thing that he was doing that called Little Lip Products.
Okay.
And I think Lucas Porzio possibly and Dave Taylor were a couple older names that I looked up to, but they kind of held up that brand for a little while
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. But those were my idols growing up,
Yeah.
like because they were, riding with me at the time, sort of. And other than that, like as in professional riders,
I guess. I don't know. Like back then it was like VHS tape videos, right? So like
Yeah.
or magazines.
yeah.
So what videos did you have? Like
It's hard to say. I think I don't know, maybe like Ryan Nyquist was one of them for sure. Oh God, I can't believe I almost forgot. Joey Garcia. He won the like '97
He was
X
on
Games.
GT.
Yep.
Yeah.
And TJ Lavin. Well, he was on Schwinn.
Joey Garcia, he never was on GT.
I don't know if he was
I feel
on
like I
GT
know that
or
name
not,
because
but
I had to like research old members of GT when I got on it or whatever.
it was Schwinn because that was like my favorite bike company for a long, long time.
Yeah, it was the shit back then, right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Van Homan was on Schwinn, right?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I'm terrible with that kind of stuff.
So that same like crew of dudes, like Robbie Clay and the West Side Boys, we'll call them, they would come over and watch videos at your place with the ants, and then you guys go on trips. Like,
they did come over for a while, but we always ended up either like watching videos at Clay's house or going to my buddy Tony's house because he lived down the street also.
Yep.
And he had just like the house where all the kids in the neighborhood would hang out. Basically, he's had like 3-4 brothers and sisters. Actually, probably 5.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but like wild stories about the legend of Zuka back then. Just like, he didn't give a fuck. He's a crazy guy. Let's see. I got a couple of requests from Robbie here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bobber.
Ask him about how he got in trouble on the east side. I talked about that. Ask him about his aunts and how they always took us on sick trips. Okay. Talked about that. What was it? Name a trip, I guess.
What was
the first big trip that you made, like BMX trip?
Like with them?
Yeah.
My aunts? They took us they rented a truck, and so they had another truck as well. And they took us to Tucson, and we rode Celestial.
Sick. I don't know what Celestial is.
It was an indoor skate park out there.
Sick.
But it was like a place with no air conditioning, and it was hot as balls. And like, I remember riding the shit out of the place and sweating so bad that like I did an X up over this street spine, and my hand slipped off.
Uh-oh.
And I ate shit. But I didn't break anything, dude. I was unbreakable when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's
somehow I don't know.
What I can remember. And yeah, it's fucking wild, man. I'm trying to,
Another part of that story is we went to the park that was down the street from Celestial and had a picnic, and like but my aunts, they brought like bags of food and everything. And it was funny because it was kind of like the park where transients hung out.
Yeah.
So they all thought that like it was all for them,
yeah.
sort of. So they were all coming up trying to get food, And it was
just
like
a bunch of zombies.
Here's a bag of chips. See you later. Like we don't have food for everybody.
Yeah.
And I probably should have just not given the bag of chips out.
Dude, I feel like I was with you when we were at Deck Park one morning, and they were giving away food to the. It might have been with you.
And I took some sandwiches, maybe.
Yeah, man. I'll eat with the homeless people at Deck Park. Like they made so much.
I was hungry.
So much. Yeah, bomb ass plate of food too.
Can't be mad at free food.
It's pretty rad. I love it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So ask him about the boat story with me, him, and his grandpa, Robbie Digital.
Oh God. It's kind of a long story, but
talk to me. We got time.
Yeah, you're right. Well, my grandfather, I took him because it was like the day before his birthday.
Robbie?
No, I'm sorry,
okay.
My grandfather.
Okay, gotcha.
So I didn't want to be like the dick and not invite my grandfather out on the boat that day. Which, I probably should have thought about it because he was like just barely diagnosed with Alzheimer's at the point. So like we're out on the lake all day long. My grandpa was wilding out. He drank a 6-pack on the way to the lake.
Okay.
Which, he was always a drinker, and I didn't realize that he could drink that much alcohol in that short of a time because it was like a 30-minute trip there, When we got there, we had a 30-pack. So we spent all day on the lake, and I had like maybe 4 or 5 beers, and I was driving the boat, which, don't do that, kids.
Let me drive the boat.
Yeah, right. But I was the captain of the day. You know what I mean? I was in charge of everything. And towards the end of the day, while we were on the boat, my grandfather, he was wilding out so bad. Like when he was taking a piss on the side, he turned around and pissed on me, which was like,
Grandpa,
God, dude, what are you doing? Are you going crazy? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty wild. I could not believe that shit.
Yeah.
But you know, that was the best time I ever had with my grandfather.
That's sick.
But at the end of the day, we're pulling the boat in, so we're going in circles, waiting for our turn to dock. And he keeps like telling me like to slow down or do something, and I kept looking at him like, "What are you doing? Why are you telling me to do this?" And by the time like it got to be our turn to dock, like he started freaking out and trying to like he started calling me by my actual grandfather's name because he wasn't my grandfather by blood.
Hmm.
He was just the one who took care of my mom while after she was born.
Hmm.
You know, so he was actually calling me by my real grandfather's name and calling me a shiflet because that was his last name, which I had no idea what his name was
Yeah.
ever. I didn't even really know about him.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever heard of it. I was like, whatever, man. Like that was like 100 years ago. Sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And so like he kept getting up and trying to fight me
Damn.
on the boat while I'm driving it, trying to park it and dock it. And like Robbie's like trying to hold him down, and like I'm sure Robbie like felt bad because like grabbing my grandfather's arms, his skin
He's all
like
frail. Yeah.
yeah, it was like bleeding, because he had those weird spots on his arm.
Sheesh.
Yeah, dude, it turned kind of bloody, which is real weird
Yeah.
for me. But he ended up like getting to him, and he socked me in the chin, and he got me, pretty good. But I was just like, at that time, I was doing well for myself, like physically.
Yeah.
And I threw him onto the deck, and hit him once on his ribs, and I think I got him pretty good, and he kind of calmed down a little bit. And I finally got the boat to the dock, and he's still freaking out, still trying to get up and tackle me or whatever. And so I get off, and I'm standing on the loading dock, and he's like a mean bull, like. I could tell he was about to charge, right?
Yeah.
So he starts like coming at me, and I just like I noticed that he's coming. I step over, and he goes right past me into the water. And it was funny as shit, honestly. Like I can't believe I did it.
Dude,
and he's just like doo. And I falls into the lake, and it was hilarious. But I was like kind of freaking out at the same time.
That's at the same. It's a real like scary situation. Right. Grandpa's losing his mind, calling you shiflet. Shit, what the fuck?
A name I've never heard of in my life.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like there's some people on a jet ski that are like, "Don't beat up that old man."
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's fucking coming after me. Yeah. Like, why don't you help me out and tell him to sit the fuck down?
He's the meanest grandpa you'll ever fucking meet.
Oh, like he's just freaking out.
That's bad grandpa stuff right there, man.
Right?
That's crazy.
So like he's in the water yelling like, "Leave me alone, let me go!" And like I'm trying to pull him out of the water, like, "Come on, grandpa, get your ass out of the water!" And I like grab the little ladder to get back onto the boat and try and get him up on the dock. Mm-hmm. And at that time, that's when the sheriffs pulled up, and they're like, "Put your hands behind your back, get on the ground." And I'm like, I'm trying to help my grandpa out of the water here. Yeah. He's like drowning. I don't know what he's doing. And so like they manhandle Robbie and put him in handcuffs, and then put me in handcuffs and finally pull him out of the water. And I think he kind of realized what was going on at that point. And he's like, "That's my grandson. Don't arrest him." Like, like finally was like,
"Oh, I done what happened?" Up. Yeah,
I done fucked up. And that's kind of like how that ended up. But we did end up getting taken to the station and sitting in a cell for a little while.
God damn.
Yeah, that was the first time I was ever detained. And well, actually, I'm sorry. That
wasn't the second time.
Yeah, the second time I was put into a cell.
Which leads me to ask, what was the first time you were put into a cell?
Oh, God. That's even worse. Honestly, it was the day before my 12th birthday. I got caught down
11 years old?
I was 11 years old.
Oh, my God. Okay.
11 years old. And some of my friends that lived down the street, they're a year or two older, and they were smoking pot. And we went down to the park and smoking out of a little tin can, a Pepsi can or something.
Yeah.
And like just in the open in the park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How young, reckless kids do it.
Yeah, just dumber and dog shit.
Not when I was 11, but that's where you smoke the weed, is out in the open at the park.
Yeah, so I was actually the one who was holding it at the time, and I was trying to rip it, and all I hear is freeze.
Oh,
Chatting police.
damn.
And that was just like the scariest moment of my life. And it's
Yeah.
like, so they ended up detaining us and handcuffing us and taking us to the car. And while I was sitting there, like with my hands behind my back, my grandparents drive across the street and they see me and they're just like
What?
dumbfounded. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? My grandson,
Yeah.
11
Holy
years
shit.
old, the day before his 12th birthday, which
Yeah.
we're about to have like a whole family over
Oh man.
to celebrate.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting story the next day.
Yeah.
And I
Holy
was like
shit.
grounded.
I can't believe
and
they
was so
actually
angry.
they took you to the station as a 12-year-old for weed.
Well, at that time it wasn't like medical marijuana or anything.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
true.
like 20,
Yeah, it
over
was
20
fucking-
years ago.
yeah.
So they were like misdemeanor, felony, blah
Oh
blah
my
blah.
God,
like,
dude, that pisses me off, man.
but
We take for granted how it is now. Like it's kind of more lax, but you're right. Like 20 years ago, it was like
it was a
the-
dangerous drug. You know,
Yeah.
it ruined people's lives.
Yeah.
You know.
Good people don't smoke marijuana. Right? That's Mike Pence saying that shit right there. All right, dude. Those are some good stories right there, man.
It is a story.
I can't
So,
believe you got arrested. That's street cred as fuck.
I always learned the hard
At the
way.
police station. Dude, we can go anywhere. Let's see. So I hit up Robbie and Clay, like, all right, hit me with some like behind the scenes. Hit me with some shit. So about sleeping behind the grills at his job because he started work at 6 a.m. Yeah.
You really want to know about that?
Yeah. You slept behind the grills at your job?
Well, I was working at Lowe's, and I took the
At
job
Lowe's?
at Lowe's.
Lowe's.
Yeah, like
What's that?
the hardware store,
Oh, okay.
like Home Depot.
Oh,
So-
yeah, Lowe's.
And they hired me as an assembler to assemble all the stuff that needs to be assembled in the store. And that was when I was living with Robbie and Clay and Victor. So like we partied every single day.
Of course.
Like
This is out in Avondale, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Goodyear Avenue.
Same shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
same shit right next to each other. But yeah, every day, like I would drink at least a 40 every night
Yep.
and pass out drunk, which is,
Good times.
good times, bad times.
Yeah.
I learned a valuable lesson there too.
Been there.
But I used to go to work hammered still sometimes.
Mhm.
And like I could not wake up early for the life of me at that age. So 6 o'clock would roll around and I'd be like, nah, I'm not gonna go to work yet. I'll wait a little bit. Because the position, I didn't really have to talk to anybody. I was a product service associate. So I just looked at the computer and it kind of gave me a task to do. So I didn't have to tell anybody I was there. And I didn't have like a manager I had to say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here.
You
Like,
could
what
get
do I
away
need
with
to
it,
do?
maybe,
Yeah, I could get away with it. And
Yeah.
I did for a year. But geez, I would go in and I went in drunk a few times. Well, hungover more or less. Still not ready to be working. So I would sneak back behind the grills because they would pack like 50 of them in these bins. And if you could get back in there, nobody ever went back in there. So
Yeah.
that was like, all right, I'm going to go pass out right here, maybe sleep for 30, 45 minutes.
Yep.
And get the rest of my rest in.
Yeah.
And I did that so many times. And I finally ended up getting fired for not showing up on time.
Yeah. And you're
But-
like, little did you guys know I've been sleeping this whole time.
Yeah.
You've been paying me to
Yeah.
nap.
I would always go into HR and be like, "Oh, I forgot to clock in again. I'm so bad at it." And they didn't question me,
You slippery bastard.
Mhm. I was a sneaky little fucker,
Yep.
but I got away with it for quite a while. And this is the shitty thing is I actually got fired, and we were all living together, so I couldn't pay the bills for a couple of months, and they kind of covered it for me.
Homies. Damn,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
real deal. That's
But
sick.
I paid him back. It took a while, but I paid him back.
Yeah.
I used
Good for you.
I grew
Yeah.
weed while we lived together.
Yeah. I feel like you've always been a pretty solid man of your word. Like if you say you're gonna do something, you do it. you
I
know?
try, man. I try. I mean, that's all you have is your word. You
Yeah,
know?
it's one of the most important things, dude. There's that book, The 4 Agreements or whatever, and one of the 4 agreements is to be impeccable with your word. And like, it feels super good. Like it, yeah. I think it's worth being good with your work.
Most
It's not
definitely.
even for anybody else, but just for you, like your own peace of
Exactly.
mind. It just
Exactly.
feels like you're a better person for that shit.
Right.
So yeah, I've heard about this fucking Goodyear house. I don't think I ever like partied with you guys there, but like what's going on during that time? Clay was talking to me like he met me at, or he saw me for the first time, I think, at Goodyear Skate Park, which was apparently right down the street from that house, the party house.
Yep.
Were you guys like filming for shit? Like you got put on peg leg through like Devin and Clay?
Yeah,
Or-
Clay's the one. Like
He's
he
like
he
the
never.
plug, yeah.
He was always like, I'm bringing my homies with me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And that was so respectable.
Yeah.
And like I love Clay for that forever.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, like we all lived together at that time, and like our motives were to film for Peg Leg all the time.
Yep.
So like we had a rail and everything, and we would shred that like every day.
Yep.
Robbie definitely, because he was like, he worked nights while we worked days. So like when we were working, he was riding a rail, and whenever we'd come home, like we'd just go shred. And there was quite a few spots around the neighborhood that we could go ride anyway. But when that park showed up, like that was just shit, dude.
Yeah.
That was like, I learned a lot there, and you know, I kept us busy.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, it was our one way to not just be partying all the time.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
so easy to just fucking party all the time. It's
Yeah.
a never-ending cycle.
Definitely.
You're like hungover and you're like, oh, the only thing that fixes this is getting fucking drunk again. So let's do that.
All right.
And riding hungover is tough. I heard you were pretty good at handling that. You've probably gotten your fair share of clips drunk. I remember the beginning of your fucking whatever video. What is it?
Which one?
Stereo?
Yeah,
Zuka
You're
is on
Welcome.
Stereo in Arizona or whatever. The first
Yeah.
clip is you chugging a 40 and chucking it, and then
No,
boom, right to shredding, man.
it was more of a celebration.
Yeah, that was after
drinking
It was
and
after a clip.
tossing. Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
So we got the peg leg, the infamous peg leg mix video, which is like you, Clay, and Robbie just destroying everything. And then we got your Welcome to Stereo video. And then I'm sure there's something else. Like I'm not familiar. What are you like? What are some of the videos you've had?
like those are the only like actual edits that I had put together.
Mhm.
But like we did a lot of mixtape stuff,
Yeah.
and I featured a lot in those
Yeah.
actually. Like we did probably 5 different like peg leg mixtape type thing edits.
Yeah.
You know, like just getting ready for the video and
Yeah.
all
You're just
that.
filming shit and then sending it over to Devin.
Yeah,
And then he's
pretty
putting it out?
much.
Yeah.
He handled most of the editing and everything.
How do you say it? Devin Fail or File?
File kids? I don't
File.
know. I don't
File.
know. Honestly, I would be lying if I knew exactly how to say it,
Yeah.
because I'd probably say it wrong.
It's just fucking Devin. Devin with the dreads back in the day.
That's
dude.
Devin.
That's,
That's the man.
hey, that's big time
The
Devin.
man's the man.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I actually bumped into him in Long Beach. I was filming my boss out there for like a real estate trip, and I'm like doing
yeah.
vlog style, following him, getting in his truck, and then I just hear Bob Kanode. Like, who the fuck? And
Like
it's-
randomly out in
yeah,
Cali?
just randomly walking down the street. Devin with a buzz cut walking past, and went and chopped it up with him for a little bit. It was
Damn.
cool to see him.
That's good.
That
to
wasn't
hear.
too long ago. That was like 8 months. I don't know what he's up to now, but peg leg.
That's not that long ago.
Yeah.
It's only 8
Clay's
months.
got a peg leg tattoo. Where's yours at?
Shit, that was the
Sheesh.
one thing that I wanted to get, and I still haven't.
Do you have tattoos?
I got a couple.
Nice. We have 20 seconds till we gotta. So this thing goes for 30 minutes. And then we
Okay,
fucking
gotcha.
reset. Let's take a little breaky poop.
All right.
And we're back. So we were talking about peg leg and like filming, sending footage to Devin. How Devin's doing. Devin's doing good.
The man.
What's your like? What everybody kind of has their favorite clip that they've ever gotten. What's your scariest thing? What are you most proud of, like, clip wise, and where was it?
Jeez, I think the most memorable one that I had, and one I think stands out the most, was probably the 360 off the fountain
Yeah,
downtown.
that shit was pretty cool.
Because like riding down the little chute in the middle and then
Yep.
doing a 3 out of there while the water was running was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Yeah, facts.
But
That
like
was wild.
honestly, shit, dude, a lot of this stuff I have done has scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But also,
what goes through your brain? Because you are the one out of the crew. I think, like, not that nobody else does it, but you in particular kind of go into the zone and just send it. So like, how does your brain work when you're lining up a crazy trick, like the fountain, for example? Like, all right, what?
It's just what thinking about what's the possibilities of everything. Like, what can you do? What do I
Yeah.
think is possible? What do I think I can do? And then visualizing yourself doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I that's really all it is, and not overthinking it. That's the
Yeah.
biggest deal. Like
Yep.
like the more you bitch run and bitch run and bitch run, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So
Yeah, it does.
my one of my mottos is like kind of a cheesy Nike motto, and it's just do it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Send it, man. Like the sooner you do it, the better. You get that initial try out of the way.
Yeah.
That's really gonna be the biggest step.
Yeah. I think that sets a lot of writers apart. Is like Reed Stark, for example, just his mentality of just like do it, just do it type shit. It's yeah, you can spook yourself out so fucking easy on stuff. Like I have that problem where I'm sitting there analyzing all the possibilities of like what injury is gonna happen and shit like that.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you think
And
about.
by that
honestly.
point, and I see it on a smaller scale. Now I'm trying to bring back 540s out of a bank, and I'll like go and like if I don't do it within 5 tries, I know that I'm not even gonna attempt it at this point. Like I just, all right, maybe next time or something.
Yeah.
You really do just have to kind of like black out before you do some shit.
Yeah, and the more tries you take, the more it's gonna play on your mind too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
More bitch runs too.
Five
Yeah.
tries. That's a lot of tries. You're
Yeah.
gonna exert a lot of energy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? A lot of your mental like confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
some work.
fucked.
Mhm.
When did you move to Tempe from Avondale or Goodyear? Was that the move? Like you guys moved out of that house and then you got your own spot? I remember were you renting or buying that house in Tempe?
I rented that one, but
Yeah.
basically because I had lost my job at Lowe's, of course. Talked about that. I worked at Target for like 2 weeks, and by that time our lease was up. And like my next step was basically I didn't have a car at the time.
Mm-hmm.
My truck had broke down, and I honestly lived in that house with Clay and Robbie without a vehicle the whole time. So that was like a year and a half. So I ended up moving with my aunts again, which she had a new girlfriend.
Big pimpin'.
Yeah, dude, she was a Mac. Ended up moving in with them, and they helped me get back on my feet. And they are the ones who introduced me to what I had started doing, like as a career.
Yeah.
To me,
The windows,
right?
right?
The windows,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, installing the windows and doors, energy efficient ones.
Yeah.
So they helped me get my car, got me a job. They told me within 6 months I could be on my own as an installer,
Mm-hmm.
and I could start my life from there.
Yeah.
So it took me a little longer than that, but I worked with them, or worked for 6 months, started saving money, blowing my money, saving my money again, blowing it.
Of course.
I wasn't able to save my money and keep it in my bank.
Mm-hmm.
So my aunts were like, you know what? I think it's time for you to get your own place. And that's when I got my apartment. And I had that one bedroom apartment in Tempe.
Okay. I don't remember. I don't think I kicked it with you back then.
It might have been like right before.
Yeah.
Like we met and
Yeah.
everything. So I got that apartment, and I financed myself a truck. I bought a trailer. And I started running my own crew, and I was doing really, really well. And finally, got a girlfriend. She wanted to move out into a bigger place, and that's where it started. I got saved up enough money to rent that house, which like had to save up $5,000 pretty much
Yeah.
to get that place.
Damn. I remember that place was sick. I spent a lot of time kicking it there with you on the couch, fucking hanging out, playing pool. That was the spot. I remember when the shit first went down, I was bringing you green smoothies and shit over there all the time.
Yeah. But that was like the one place where I could really start like trying to further myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted a house that I could have people come and stay when they came into town and rode, because I was still really into riding and like filming and traveling.
Yeah. Heavy in the game, baby.
Yeah. And I had a ton of people come by that house. And it was awesome. And even like you had people stay at my house when you had people.
Yeah, I did.
And that's
Who did
where
I
I
have
met.
stay there? It was Charlie and Craig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Crumlish and
Holy
his
shit,
ID
dude!
name?
Yeah, Craig Passero, Whammo.
Yeah, exactly. Whammo.
Yeah. Whammo and Crumlish, dude, that was the sickest night ever. So your house backed up to the secret school, the school with the blue ledges, and we ate some magical mushrooms, dude.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, man, and just stood kind of in the slight drizzly rain, just like staring at this beautiful ledge spot in the back, and that's how. Yeah, I'll always love those boys, especially like even without that night, but that night like bonded us together for sure. It was fucking.
I never knew them before either, and like we were end up like being pretty good friends after that.
Yeah, they were the shit, dude.
Crumlish even came out to my benefit.
Yeah, hell yeah,
and that was cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he filmed his own little video for it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So then, boom. There's the shitty part. How did you learn that you had cancer?
Oh, working. I was at work, and by the time lunchtime came around, my body started hurting so bad that I couldn't even move. So I ended up like laying on the ground on the sidewalk, like trying to just get over how much pain that I was in while I was working.
Fuck.
So I ended up going to Tempe Hospital and telling them what's going on, and they're giving me a bunch of pain killers like through IVs and stuff. And I'm like, this isn't working. And they finally gave me something like Dilaudid or whatever.
Yeah.
And that finally like took away like the aching pain that I had like all over, like in my hips and my shoulder. But
that's
like,
scary.
While that was happening, like I had pain in my shoulder, like I crashed.
Yeah.
And then that pain went to my other shoulder. And then it moved down my back to my hip. And then over to my other hip. And then it was all of it.
Yeah.
So that was like, that scared the shit out of me.
Dude.
And like,
what's happening?
My helper at that time, he was like, man, we got to take you in and see what's going on. And I was like, dude, I'm too scared that's going to be like something crazy. You know what I mean? Like cancer.
Yeah.
And even like the homeowner, when I was installing, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like the homeowner's like, you better go to the hospital and get that checked out. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to go. I'm not the type of person that's going to go to the hospital and figure out that, you know,
I don't
shit like
know.
that happens. So that was the beginning. And once I went to that hospital, Tempe, they were like, we can't treat you here. There's something else wrong. Your blood counts are all over the place. So you need to go like to this other hospital that's 30 minutes away. So I had to fucking take a ambulance all the way over there, which is like $1,500. I was like, please don't let me drive. Let me drive. I don't want to spend that much money, you know?
Yeah.
So
nope, get in the back.
But I ended up spending 10 days there trying to figure out what was going on.
They're just doing blood tests.
Blood test after blood test. Didn't figure it out. Sent me home after they gave me a whole bunch of steroids, and I finally started feeling better.
Just like masking the symptoms, obviously.
Yeah, the steroids helped a lot. Like so, once like the steroids started working, I felt like 100%. I was like,
I'm fixed.
Dude. I was all stoked. I was like, all right, this is over with.
Yeah.
And I'm like fucking at AutoZone trying to get parts for my car because I was working on my truck. And I got a call from one of the doctors, and he's like, hey, man, you busy? And I was like, yeah, kind of. Whatever. He's like, well, you have cancer. And
just like that.
Yeah. Like basically, he's like, bad news. You have cancer. And you need to go to the hospital like tomorrow or today if you can. And I was like shopping like in AutoZone or not. Yeah, it was AutoZone.
Oh, God.
Getting parts, and I just like stopped in my tracks. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And like, I was just like in a different world at that point. Like I went home. I rode my little dirt bike too. It's a little 90.
Yeah.
A little Ripper.
Yeah.
So I was like all jazzed that I was like cruising out around the
car.
neighborhood. Yeah. And yeah, dude, that shit devastated me. And I went home, told my girlfriend. She disappeared for like an hour. And I'm like, finally, like, where the fuck is she? And she's outside crying her eyes out, like talking to her parents, like telling them what's going on. And I'm like, why are you crying? Like it still didn't sink in at that point so much that
Yeah.
I was like that devastated, but I was still like, it'll be all right. You
Yeah.
know, I'll get over it. It's no big deal.
It's like zen about it, kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of. But yeah, like that was it. That was the moment that like it changed everything.
Yeah. When
Life
was this?
changed. I was 27.
So 7 years ago.
7 years.
2012.
Ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
then, I mean, shit. 7 years later, you're still here and kicking. So that's what's up.
yeah,
You know. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you,
Congrats
thank
on
you.
being alive still.
it was a difficult time for me for sure.
There's so much to talk about with that. Like, what happened? What was the next step? You go in and like say, "Hey, I was told I have cancer. What now?" You know?
Yeah, that was like when I went into the hospital, they were like, all right, this is what you gotta do. We're gonna do 6 months or 6 or 7 rounds of high dose chemo radiation. So that's like high dose
Kiss your
chemo.
hair goodbye. Yeah.
That first round, goodbye, peace out. And then while I was doing that, I had to do radiation also. But like the worst part of the chemo is doing the intrathecal shots in your spine, so that like the chemo would go through your spine into your brain and like all throughout your blood. So
Mhm.
like your blood from your heart pumps to your extremities and
Yeah.
everything, but it doesn't go to your brain and like to your spine basically. So
Okay.
they have to introduce it to a spot that's gonna be like go to your heart and then to everywhere else as well. So like
Intrathecal.
into your spine. So
Yeah.
like an epidural but with chemo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts a lot worse.
I bet.
It's not help. It's not there to help your pain. It's there to make it worse, basically.
All right. Yeah.
And then I also had to do like the full body radiation, and that was fucking terrible. Like it doesn't hurt while you're getting it, but the
Afterwards.
damage that it does to your body, it's like it just burns everything. So
Yeah.
like your fingernails fall off. You know, it's like your whole body gets burned, and like it just has to rejuvenate it.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, it was 6, like I said, 7 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
But they said it was going to be like a year and a half of treatment and everything before I even got to do like the transplant.
Yeah. So then, at what point are you? Right now, are you cancer free?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I am cancer free, in remission. Thank God. But yeah, the transplant like that I got was from a donor. It was a 10 out of 10 match, which you know is-
Transplant.
right?
Bone marrow.
Bone marrow. Yeah. So like
All over your body.
all over.
How the fuck do they do that?
Well, what they do is they they give you more chemo, and that like kills your body. It kills all the cells in your body that like make you who you are, basically. And then they reintroduce you with some other type of blood from another person with the same chromosome type. And then like that changes your whole blood type as well. So like I was an A negative and now I'm O negative.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm a completely changed person.
Yeah. So like, how does they're not doing surgery and like
Not at
taking
all.
out your bone marrow and putting it back in. And
It's-
bone marrow is the shit that's inside of your bones, right? Like,
Right.
and that can be done with blood. Is that what?
Well, taking out
Just
like
blood
your
transfusion.
yeah, like zapping it with the chemo and the radiation.
Yeah.
That's killing everything,
Okay.
including your bone marrow.
And then once
Not-
everything inside of you is kind of, and everything meaning your blood and your like blood cell, the white blood cells, everything like
Pretty much. It's just it's hard to explain, honestly. It's
yeah,
just
it's hard
like
to understand.
like if your body's a 10, like, and that's making like what makes your skin white and this and that, you
Mhm.
know, or whatever. It like brings your body down to a 0, and then they introduce you to it, and then you got to build up from that 0 point. You know what I mean? So like you
just
are
restart.
you are
Yeah.
nothing, and then they give you something to turn you into something else.
Yeah.
Now,
Fuck,
that's the
man.
only way I can really even
Yeah.
think about explaining it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So when did that shit happen? Because that was, years. So you do it, the 8 months of chemo and radiation, and then it's like in remission, or like
Yeah, they put you into remission first.
okay,
And they got to make sure that you're in remission before they can
Mhm.
even do that. So after I think my 4th or 5th round they tested me and I was in remission like pretty quickly. So like that worked pretty well.
Yeah.
So like, after that, they waited a little bit, gave me another round of chemo and more radiation, and then they're like, all right, let's gem. Like, I spent a month in the hospital to get my transplant, and that's what that requires basically.
Yeah. So you're just like dead in the hospital
For 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
But I got out after 3 weeks because I was in there on my birthday, and I got out like 3 days after my birthday.
Okay. Sick.
Which was good, but then I was back in the week after.
Yeah.
Because I had fevers, and like after that is like recovery time, and that takes a long time. They say after you get your transplant, it takes a year for you to even be normal.
Yeah. How long has it been since your transplant?
Since transplant, that's been 6 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
But
yeah, and then I remember like you were kind of just cooped up in your house in Tempe for a while.
yeah, it's just like you can't really introduce yourself to anything new, or else you'll get sick, and that could possibly kill you.
Yeah, your immune system is compromised.
Very compromised. Yeah, like they have to wear a suit in the hospital room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people couldn't even come in to visit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're kind of a miracle that you're alive right now, huh?
Very much so. Yeah.
So what was the cancer called?
Acute lymphoma leukemia.
Acute lymphoma leukemia.
Yeah.
And then, how like, I know we did a fundraiser for you at the skate park, and then what else? Like, I know that a bunch of us came out and helped out. A bunch of people helped you out. I think like
Mouse Powell.
Yeah.
He had a benefit concert for me.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I raised a bunch of money with them, and that was like one of the best concerts I've ever been to, because it was like people that I've looked up to forever as like artists and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, God, that was amazing. That was like the best thing that ever happened.
Hell yeah.
Honestly.
That's dope.
But like the benefit itself was a miracle too, because like so many people came. I got so much money off of it. I lived off of that money for like over a year.
Nice.
That helped out like tremendously.
Yeah. And it's fucked financially, huh? Like,
it's shit. Like you
just
can't
in
go
debt
to work
forever now.
So like,
yeah.
What's that?
Are you just in debt forever now? With it?
No, not at all. I was able to get like my aunt at the time. She wasn't working, so she spent like full-time job trying to take care of my finances.
Yeah.
So they took care of my taxes, like that were kind of backed up at the time.
Yeah.
And then
she's the Mac.
Yeah, but
That's
she also got me insured for like state healthcare to cover like all my treatments and stuff. Because when I first went to the hospital, like I didn't have insurance at the time, and that was before you had to have insurance like legally. Yeah. So like they told me they might be able to give me my first round, but they couldn't guarantee that I'd get another round after that because they didn't have insurance. And that was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the social worker at the hospital was saying that he was doing everything he could to like take care of that shit, and he didn't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So like my aunt like stepped in, was like took care of shit, got it done like within a month. So like I owe a couple $1,000s to the hospital.
Yeah.
But like
other than that, way worse than that.
I could have been hella in debt.
Yeah.
But they probably wouldn't even done it if I didn't have the insurance.
Yeah.
Which is pre-existing coverage at the time. So I had to get denied by 2 insurance companies in order to get pre-existing coverage insurance through Access or Medicaid or whatever.
Something. Yeah.
Which is still hard to figure out to this day.
Yeah. It's
what
all fucking confusing. Man.
It is. They don't make that shit easy.
Yeah.
It's like the hardest thing to figure out.
Yeah,
that could be a foundation. It's just helping you after your cancer, like getting your finances squared away so that you don't end up in debt.
Did you meet any cool people throughout the process, like homies that are doctors, or inspirational people that would come see you, or like who's in the hospital with you talking and shit? Like anybody notable? Any characters?
Doctors. Definitely. A lot of nurses, though. Nurses are the ones who take care of you, of course.
Heroes of the world.
But God, some of the nurses, like, were so fine. But, like, so sweet at the same time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They
angels. Like, nurses are angels.
I couldn't believe how some of the nice they were. Like, they would come in the middle of the night, like, give me my medication and talk to me for, like, a half hour, you know what I mean? And, like, they had to do other stuff too.
Yeah.
And they took the time out to talk to me
Big time.
and see how I'm doing.
Yeah.
It might have helped that I was a strapping young man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm a people person. You know what I mean? Like, down to earth.
Chop it
Like,
up a
I can
little
chop
bit,
it
yeah.
up with just about everybody.
Yeah.
So that's a plus side.
That's rad, man. Well, I think we all are pretty happy you're still here and kicking, man. That's pretty sick. Let's go to the Graham questions, man. I know. Let's see. So ABQ DNV, who's running that? Albuquerque, Denver. That's Mario.
Oh, once again, I'd be lying if I told you. But I would imagine that most of the dudes from Albuquerque are doing it.
Just tell him we appreciate him and he's a badass.
Love you guys.
Yes,
all of y'all's.
All right. Jibby Hendrix talked about peg leg days. We talked about that. Ginger Ninja says, favorite AZ spot, past or present?
Favorite? That's hard.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have an answer for that.
Really? Like, a favorite spot? Jeez. I think the Dysart Ledges were amazing.
The Hubbas? Yeah.
But I also love sub boxes. So, like the Tatum and
Tatum and Bell?
Yeah. Those were a good spot. Good spot. But just downtown, like, you can go anywhere downtown and find a good spot.
Yeah, cruising around downtown is sick. You destroyed the fuck out of downtown.
Well, that was just our local joint,
Yeah. Dude, this one's cool. It's Cleon. Shout out Cleon.
Man.
In Long Beach, he says, what's your catharsis these days? Your drive outside of BMX. So what keeps you going right now?
Oh, God.
That's tough.
My friends, honestly. Friends always keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But right now, like, because I'm not really able to ride, I got a mini truck, like a lowrider.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing, like, when it's not 115 degrees, I love working on it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's...
Fuck, it's miserable outside right now, dude.
It's disgusting.
Just looking out there, it looks like it hurts.
It does hurt.
Yeah.
It does not help at all either, so...
Yeah, especially with your skin right now, huh?
Yeah.
So what is your status? Like,
currently, I have a disease called chronic graft-versus-host disease.
Okay.
And that is a disease that you get from your body fighting your transplant. So even though it's a 10 out of 10, my body still, like, not everything is rejecting it, but there's certain parts of my body that are rejecting it. And like my skin, I have the spots on my arms. The whole issue with my arms, like, basically seizing up to where I can't bend them or extend them out completely. And then, like, the oral problems that I have, like, I can't eat anything spicy or, like, crunchy because that shit, like, just stabs my gums, and then, like, it's just like having an open wound in your mouth all the time.
Fuck.
So that, like, fucking miserable. Like, I wouldn't be this skinny if it wasn't for that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that has a lot of other issues behind it because, like, I'm not getting calories. Yeah. I'm not getting my nutrition. But
on that motherfucking green smoothie gang, dog.
Yeah, man. But being on disability, like, I don't get shit for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's bad because I only get so much. I can't spend all my money on fruit and vegetables to juice.
Yeah.
And it's expensive to eat healthy.
Well, juicing's annoying. Like, you have to, clean the juicer and all that shit. But just making smoothies.
It's just not only that, but, like, all the money you spend on that shit.
You can do
unless you donated
feasibly.
it. Yeah, I could, but I would be spending every last dollar.
Yeah, maybe.
Which,
there's got to be a way.
Unless you get donated.
There's got to be a way to get you to drink your goddamn smoothies.
You need to just come over every day and keep making them for me like you used to.
The good old days. All right. I totally fucked up you answering that question, but you were talking about the mini truck. So, like, you're going to get it dialed in as soon as the weather breaks?
Yeah, well, like, I'm working on it here and there right now.
Yeah.
So it's always a constant work in progress. Like, it won't ever be a show truck. It'll be just a fun truck that honestly I built to drag on the ground. Like,
just
I'm going down the highway.
Yeah.
I can lower it and then start throwing sparks, like, through the whole fucking road.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God. And all the kids are like, look at that, Mom. And I'm like, that shit gets my adrenaline going like a motherfucker. So
There
Yeah,
it is.
that's my drive.
That's
Honestly,
some
right now.
catharsis right there. That's tight. All right. Fucks with that. Let's see. Art is hard. Curtis Woodruff says, "What's your favorite thing about Arizona?"
Arizona is shit. The fact that it's a year-round state where you can be outside year-round
Mhm.
for the most part, like maybe not during the day in the summer, but like you can go out at night.
Yeah.
And like even just the winters are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I cannot complain about that.
I agree. The dryness too, man. Like I lived in Florida for like 6 months, and coming back was like, oh, thank God. Like fucking so wet. I don't fuck with humidity at all.
Right. Not from Denver, so like I'm used to like seeing the snow on the ground and being stuck inside while it's snowing.
Yeah.
You know? And I cannot stand being freezing cold.
How long did you live in Denver?
For about 10 years.
10 years.
10
So you
years,
moved
yeah.
here when you were 10?
Basically, yeah.
I moved here from Virginia when I was 11. So similar kind of shit.
Old vagina.
Good old vagina.
Yeah, badge.
Where'd you go to high school? Did you go to high school?
Yeah.
Because you
I
got expelled
graduated-
from fucking
Yeah.
somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's the best part. It's like once I did get expelled, I moved to my aunt's house. You know, they showered me with love and, you know, like positive enforcement.
Mhm.
And I ended up going to a charter school and graduating a year early.
Sick.
So, like, yeah, I graduated
Got that
as a
shit done.
junior and fucking moved on quickly and went to junior college for a couple of years. Didn't do a goddamn thing with that.
Yeah.
And, you know,
What were you studying for junior college?
web developing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was
That would have been a
hot
good
then.
one to know. Yeah.
Would have been hot, but at the same time,
You didn't care.
the only reason why I did it was to build a website for me and the homies,
The
like
destruction.
the Destruction Crew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's the only reason why I did it.
Did you get a Destruction Crew website up and running or what?
Yeah, it was a free GeoCities website.
Sick.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I kept up with it for a while.
Just doing blog posts and news updates and
Yeah,
pictures
just
and shit.
updates and pictures.
Yeah.
Yep. And comments, dude. Like it was always good to see what people always had to say.
Yeah, like a message board. Those are the
Yeah.
good old. Were you on one of the OG BMX message boards? Like I know Clay was on and 20-inch NYC.
No,
like,
not
bike
so
guy,
much.
maybe.
No,
Yeah.
I basically just did my own, and that was it.
Yeah.
Clay was always the one who kept up on all that shit.
Yeah.
I moved in with Clay like basically when we were 18. We got an apartment together,
Hmm.
and I bought my computer with my Pell Grant money
Okay.
from school.
Yeah.
And that's like when we first signed up with MySpace and Facebook and all that shit. So yeah, since we were 18, we've been on social media, like
Yeah.
networking like that.
It's so crazy how far it's come from back then. Like I remember MySpace, and I think I vaguely remember seeing your page on MySpace in the top 8 and shit. You remember
Yeah.
those, dude?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
And everything.
you
You were
can-
doing web development. Were you doing the custom shit?
Trying to.
Like you can do basic HTML on your MySpace page and like tweak
I
the
was
colors and
terrible
shit.
at that shit.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I ever paid attention to with web developing was like Photoshop.
Yeah.
So like I tried to get as in tune with that as I could.
Pause real quick. Back at it, baby. Dude, yeah. I just had to learn for my job to like learn building a WordPress site and just like very minimal coding and shit. And coding is just so it's like learning French, probably harder. I don't know. It's ridiculous, but I guess like anything else, you practice a little bit and you get better. I haven't put too much into it, but this shit's cool.
Yeah, one of the classes was like a Linux class.
Mm-hmm.
So like I started learning some of that stuff, and then it's like not my style. You know what I mean? I can't sit down and learn that kind of shit. I'm terrible at it.
It's a lot of hours just sitting there. I already do enough on the computer with video
Right.
editing. And shit.
Like I got mad respect for people that can't do that
Yeah,
though. Like
it's-
that's not easy at all.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
How long was the website up and running? Was it destructioncrew.com?
Yeah, it was actually www.geocities.decrewride
Nice.
with ride with a Y.
Yeah.
So like
Sick.
standard bikes.
Yeah.
Right? But that was fun. I think it was up for like better part of 10 years maybe,
Mm-hmm.
possibly.
Damn, dude.
But like it was
Destruction
free.
Crew,
So
yeah.
like it was like the most basic shit ever.
Yeah.
But it was working. It worked.
Dude, I was just thinking about what Clay said in his episode or whatever. He was talking about you guys showed up to this house party. There's a glass table and a polo mallet, and he just like I dare you to smash. You won't smash that glass table. And
Yeah.
You're like, bet. Skadoosh! And then a fight ensues. You remember that shit?
Yeah, pretty, like as hammer drunk as I was at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friend Justin, midget, he it was one of his friends' house, and then he's like, "I bet you won't break that table." And like I just like nonchalant grab it and just over my head and smash, and it was full of beer cans and bottles and everything.
Oh,
And
God.
it shattered.
That's destruction crew as fuck.
No doubt. No doubt, dude. And one of the kids, like 2 kids actually walked up and they're like, "Dude, why'd you break that table?" And I'm looking at him, I'm drunk. I look over at my buddy Clay. I'm like, and I turn back to him and I shove them both. Like, and push them both back. And one of them grabs the mallet and swings it and like barely misses my face. And like at that point, that's when like we start brawling, you know what I mean? And you know,
backyard brawl.
They all got taught a lesson, unfortunately, and it was their house, which is even more sad.
Yeah. You're
and
a
like,
horrible person.
They're telling us to leave, and like we're leaving, and like just they're like, "Come on, get out, and like wouldn't leave us alone, and we're leaving, you know. And I'm like, I grab this hammer off the table, and I'm like, woo! I start freaking out like I'm like a psycho, and they're all like,
just pretending to be a crazy person.
Yeah, dude,
I'm fucking crazy.
They were so scared, dude.
Yeah.
And it was so funny when we left. I was like, dude, did you see that shit? Like, God, I cannot even. I wish it was filmed for how crazy and funny it was.
What else don't we know about? Give me another Zuka story, man.
Oh, God. When Devin came out one time, we were riding the Tatum and Bell ledges, and some old man like is coming up to where we're riding and is like going off on us, like honking his horn and shit. And like I just finished doing my trick and I like jump off my bike and I'm like running around this car like a madman, like I was at the last place. And just
that's your alter ego character, dude.
Like, that's probably the only other time I ever did that.
Yeah.
And like this old man just looked like he would scare the shit out of him, literally, dude. And fucking he just takes off, dude. But I'm like running around this car, like wilding out, dude. It was wild. It was wild.
Yo, you guys did a bunch of fucking New York trips. What's that all about? How do you like
a couple? They went more than I did because they were financially more stable.
By you guys, I mean you, Robbie, Clay, right?
Yeah. Honestly, that was the best trip that I've ever taken in my life.
You got to ride the Brooklyn Banks?
Yeah. And that was
I'm so jealous, dude.
Ever. Yeah. Like, and it's open now again, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't know.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
If I'm not correct. I mean, I don't know.
That's like on the bucket list, dude, of BMX. You gotta go ride the Brooklyn Banks.
Yeah, dude. Like when I rode that place, I rode it like I'd never be there again.
Yeah.
You know, I did some cool shit there that like I can look back and be proud of. You know what I mean? Like, but just riding around that city and then riding with the crew, you know what I mean? Like I met
weaving in traffic and shit.
Yeah, I met my idol, honestly, Will Tobin from
Sick.
You know, Brooklyn
Project?
No, the video from the one that Clay was talking about,
Brooklyn.
Base Brooklyn. Yeah, like he was in the beginning of it talking about a California freestyle and like, you know, but dude, that was one of my idols and just the way he rode. Like I looked up to that a lot.
You've held it down out here and for the.
I'd like to.
You definitely held it down, dude. It's fucking awesome. I'm like proud of you, even though I'm younger than you. Yeah.
Well, that's what you're supposed to be proud of. Well, I guess you're right. I'm not younger than you, so.
Proud of you, kiddo. Huh?
Yeah. But even Nigel, like we met Nigel before he ever got hooked up.
Yeah.
And like he was killing it. Dude.
Yeah.
Like I'd never seen anybody ride as smoothly and consistently as he did. You know.
He was sick.
Cruising around the streets with all those dudes like Black Man and shit. Like it was wild. It was fun as shit.
Yo, what is Black Man like?
You know, cruising around smoking blunts, you know what I mean? Like fucking representing New York. And that's, I mean, we didn't ride with them much. Like, we rode with them at a couple of spots, but like, I made sure to make myself like not so much known, but like that I respected what he did, like in New York as a rider, like, and, you know, kind of asked him to smoke some of his blunt, you know what I mean, and try to give some myself, and you know, that's a good way to meet people, honestly, which is kind of weird, but
yeah,
you
no,
know,
fuck yeah, weed brings people together. Big
yeah,
time.
for sure. And
I hate it because I get super paranoid and weird after I smoke a
Right.
blunt. And I'm like, it's nice to meet you. Bye. Fucking
see ya.
go. Yeah, I gotta go.
Go
I have
sit
to
in the
go
corner.
return some videotapes. Where else have you been that you liked besides New York?
Well, of course, Long Beach.
Yeah.
That was like one of my other favorite places.
Yep.
Just endless spots, dude. Everywhere you go, there's a spot in Cali.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, shoot, Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Shout out
That
to
was
the
fun.
Albuquerque kids.
Yeah.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yep.
Fucking love that place. Like, that is also a place that has
Hawkeye.
endless spots and
Yeah.
hella drunk ass natives,
Yeah.
which is funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome to go there and just people watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I love New Mexico too.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really traveled a whole lot outside of that, really. So
They got spots in Albuquerque, man. It's
no doubt,
awesome.
no
Yeah.
doubt. Like,
The Sabrosa trip we did there, I was blown away. Like all the ditches they have are so sick. The scene's pretty cool, man. And like the skate parks, all the kids there, and it's just awesome. Cool vibes out there. Like,
yeah, Los Altos is epic place, dude.
Mhm.
I've been there so many times.
Yeah. Wow, that's where I first met Wynum Dynum 69. Ryan Olsen is his name. Anyways. So like in Arizona, maybe not you, but just in general, somebody asked, I think Anthony Sean on Instagram asked, what's the like gnarliest trick spot setup use that you've seen in Arizona? The craziest thing that you've seen done in Arizona by you or somebody else?
By me or somebody else.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, riding around with the market dudes.
Yeah.
That was probably the most insane shit that I've ever seen riding a bike.
Yeah.
But like Dennis Anderson doing everything he wants to do, Chad Curley doing everything he wants to do,
Yep.
blowing up spots that like I didn't know tricks were possible until I saw them do it. You know,
Yeah.
like I think one of the coolest shits I ever saw was Dennis like doing a 3 over a rail that was like just about handlebar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To drop, right?
Drop,
Yep.
yeah, dude. That was, dude, insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
That loading dock spot, right?
Yeah.
That shit's like
Yeah.
crazy. Claire saying he did the 180 bar just warming up over that shit.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis, you
Wall
crazy
ride
bastard.
180, dude. Like I didn't think there was enough space there to do that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
He's a
but also
magician.
fucking. Oh God, I'm so bad with names. The other fella in Market, one of my other favorite
Christian
riders.
Miguel?
Yep, exactly. Christian, dude. He is like a murderer, dude. He does the biggest, wildest shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching him hurt himself and try shit that, like,
The pegs, huh?
mm-hmm.
Were you talking about the big long pegs off
Yeah,
of
that
Beardsley?
double peg
Yeah.
to fucking drop. That's like 25 feet,
Yeah.
probably 20.
Did he end up getting it or no?
Honestly, I don't
saw
think
it.
so. He got broke off doing it that
Yeah.
one time. So, I don't
So
know
he
if
was going
went
all the way to
back,
the end and then trying to land in the
trying
bank.
in the transition.
What a
yeah.
crazy
It's
guy,
just
dude.
one of the biggest ditches in Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, insane.
Yeah.
And,
Can you
like,
imagine? I wonder if that's something he's gonna go back and. Probably not, dude. If I was him, I would like, all right,
Right.
next.
And that was almost probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, at least.
Pretty close.
Definitely.
It's getting there.
Yeah, because he was filming for Market Zero, and that came out 2013 or 2014. That's 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right there. Shit.
And there's a lot of stuff I don't remember, dude. But like, just
Yeah.
they were so impressive to watch and ride with.
Yeah.
But also, when I did that, when I was trying to double peg that the back of that bus stop, but I did
Yeah,
the wall
ditch.
ride on it,
Yeah.
and I got my tire like up on the very top rail of this backstop
Hmm.
of the bus stop. Probably the scariest thing I've ever done, and scared the shit out of me every single time I tried it.
Yeah.
You know, and I tried to double peg it, which like I almost got it, but like I fell crash doing that on cheese grater, and that scared the
Oh,
fucking life
dude, I
out of
hate.
me.
Yeah,
You know.
cheese grater ditches, man. What's your favorite trick, or what was your favorite trick to do? I know you're not fucking riding anymore, but like back, what was your go-to trick?
One of my favorites, honestly, because I never really saw anybody do it. Like, was bar spin to ice pick on a quarter pipe.
Nice.
It's kind of odd because
Yeah.
it's transition and skate park shit.
Mhm.
But like, I still haven't really ever watched anybody do a bar spin to ice pick on a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Stall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, chilling, like, or even to revert or anything
Mhm.
like that. Like,
That's a cool trick.
or like when I did the ice pick to revert on that fence
Mm-hmm.
downtown at the gym that one year.
Yeah. You did that to Fakey?
Yeah.
Inside Bank? Jesus. The photo that I
Yeah.
posted on the story or whatever? I had no idea you did that shit to Fakey. Damn. That's crazy.
I think back
That
a
is
lot
amazing.
of times to the things that I did, and I was like, dude, how the fuck did I do that? Like,
Yeah. You're a
that's-
savage,
that's
man.
impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's impressive. Hell yeah. That was at a Street Fighter gym, right?
Yeah.
That shit has been going on. Clay's telling me that's the last one. And he's
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
what
do
he
another
said.
one.
Yeah, that's sad, but you know, he's
He's-
got 2
he's
kids
fucking lying,
almost.
dude.
You know,
We're gonna push him. He's gonna do another one. You know?
yeah, somebody's got to hold it down. You know what I mean? I can't just end like that.
Mm-hmm. I'll at least use his name and face, dude. I'll put it together.
Right.
I'll wear a Clay Johnson mask, dude.
Nate's throwing another Albuquerque jam.
Sick. Double
That's
ditch.
what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a double ditch, but
That's-
like
that's the one,
it's
man.
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And that's a jam like Nate's doing.
Uh-huh.
So
What's your favorite beverage? What you like to sip on?
at this point right now, I really like the apple Jim Beam, or no, the apple Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
It's apple. That's all I know.
Yeah, apple whiskey.
That with like ginger ale. So
Yep.
amazing. It's just because like I have a sweet tooth anyway, so like
Hey, dude, you're addicted to sugar.
I'm better, but I'm still terrible. I can't.
Did they know like what caused? Speaking of sugar and booze, dude, what caused your shit in the first place? Your cancer?
No.
Was it your diet of sugar and alcohol?
Who knows? It could have been that I ate once a day, and
That's not bad.
I drank malt liquor,
Yeah, that's
which is like a sugar derived
Yeah.
beverage. You know what I mean? But I know plenty of other people that drank Mickey's every day of their life and don't
yeah. I know
have
people
cancer.
who smoke cigarettes their
So-
whole life, and they're fine too. But I want to go on the record and say that you shouldn't be drinking sugar or booze. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I
agree.
know.
Or in moderation.
Yeah. What I see this. We got a bookshelf over here. These all grandma's books.
Yeah, I
You
don't
fuck
know.
with reading?
No,
Yeah.
no. I've
What do you
read
do to
maybe
kill
one.
time?
Shit. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
What's your show?
That's funny. I watched a lot of like the outdoor channels, like Alaska Bush People or
Mhm.
Naked and Afraid. I like that one just because like people have to be resourceful,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like how I like to be in general. Is like I don't want to go buy something from a store. I want to make it. I want to like build it. I want to figure it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's what kind of keeps me going is taking shit apart like I was a little kid and figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, last
so-
time I came over here, you had your fucking laptop
Like,
all taken
yeah, the
apart. Look at this
computer.
power, please.
right, like something I can't even see to
Yeah.
fucking solder together. But
Yeah.
like just like being a MacGyver, like in your
Mhm.
own way. You know what I mean? Like solar energy is really something that I'd like to know more about. You
Hell
know what
yeah.
I mean?
I agree. That's fucking awesome. You should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just figuring shit out, like building my own windmill that can produce energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hooking up a fucking alternator to it, and like charging a battery that's gonna light up my like property. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? My grandparents have 40 acres,
Yeah.
and
You like being out there?
I love it, dude. I love it. It's got a
Is
canyon.
that the
on
move
it.
eventually? Just fucking get out in the middle of nowhere and sustain
Maybe
yourself?
like when I get to be 50. So
Yeah.
that's only like 15 years from now,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird to say.
So
but,
crazy, yeah.
but yeah, like when I was a kid and I thought about what I'd be doing when I was an old man, it was sitting on a porch, like in
Yeah.
a rocking chair out in the middle of fucking nowhere, in a log cabin. You know what I mean? Like that's where I picture myself at an older age.
That's legit. Yeah, I like that.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and all the shit that I built to like make it like my own place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You so like you would have to have your own crops and you feed yourself and shit. I remember at the old crib you had a bunch of plants going, like a little garden going.
I tried.
Yeah.
I didn't have a very good green thumb at the time, but like I did my best. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
it's better than most people not doing it. Yeah.
You know.
It's fucking rad.
Yeah, I mean, just making everything your own. You know, and I like to customize everything that I have. Like that is kind of the way I am for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's tight. You paint your bike a lot when you ride?
I did.
Yeah.
But now that like with stereo bikes, they gave me this frame that's like incredible. I can't even.
The Rasta one?
Yeah. Man, everything else on it is
we didn't even touch on stereo, dude. So
No,
like how'd you get the hookup on stereo bike?
That was straight up through a homie fucking Los from Vegas right now. He hooked me up. He got in touch with their whoever like deals with their
like
company, in the States, which I don't think they even have anybody in the States anymore.
Where are they based out of?
Germany.
Okay. They still kicking?
Yeah, like in Germany, they're doing fantastic. They're coming out with new stuff all the time, and they still contact me, a few times a year and see how I'm doing and hook me up.
Sick. That's cool.
With stuff. Yeah, I mean, for how much stuff I went through and like me not really being able to provide like a good marketing for them so much, like as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
They still like got my back, dude.
Yeah,
and
that's super rad.
So tight, dude. Yeah. So tight. They could have just been like, "All right, dude, peace out. Sorry you had cancer."
Yeah.
They gave me like $500 when I got sick and everything. So they contributed as much as they could.
Yeah, that's rad. So you just hooked up through Los? Like they saw the peg leg video, or?
Yeah, well, that was what initially he showed them all the little edits that I had, and I had one final like mixtape type thing with Clay and Robbie.
Yeah,
and that was one of the like cool little web edits that came out, and I was like pretty stoked on. I think that had, I don't think that had the 360 in it. The fountain.
That was
like right before.
That was the welcome video that had that 360 in it.
Yeah.
That was the last clip.
So it was a web edit right before that they finally were like, they saw it and they're like, all right, this dude is a street writer, like we want him.
Sick.
And like, yeah, that's why I spent so much time filming with you and everybody else, like building that stereo edit. So
show's cool, man.
Dream came true at that point. You know what I mean? I got my free frame, my free parts.
That's
you know
it
what I
right
mean?
there.
Like that's the only reason.
Mama, we made it.
I was like, I did it. You know what I mean? We made it. Like
that is the dream, man. Even if you like don't admit it or not, like just being recognized by a bike company that you represent their brand is so sick,
right? My dream was always to be in the X Games, and I realized that I don't train like a fucking pro athlete, so I'm not going to the X Games.
Dude, and the level that the shit is at park riding nowadays, it's so fucking insane. Even like the street riders, it's like on a whole other level.
Oh, dude, I would love to be at that level. Love it.
I feel like you were on path 2B, and you got fucking cancer, dude.
Right. I was already 27 at the time, so who knows, like, what else I would have done at that point. But, like, shit, I would have kept on riding as much as I could,
for sure.
I was not slowing down by any means. I was trying just as hard as ever at that time.
Yeah.
And that was, like, right after I got hooked up with stereo, too. Yep. So that was, like, a big, like, fuck, man.
Yeah, like great timing.
Thanks, cancer. Not the right time. Not the right time.
Thank you, God.
Yeah. You motherfucker.
Has like you have to have gone through the fucking ropes, I imagine, like mentally going through this shit. Like it's
ups and downs.
It's impressive that you keep your chin up, or at least it seems like it. So I don't know if you want to touch on that. Like, how have you kind of pushed through it mentally?
Well, like I don't know if I've said it, but like my biggest motivation was the people that I've met and continued to have in my life, my friends, my family. Like more so my friends, like my family is always there, but my friends that I've been able to keep relationships with were fantastic. And like, I would hate to let any of my friends down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, that's what's kept me motivated for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it
I'll do
stripped
it.
a lot of stuff away from what I was and where I was heading in my life. So I can't look back on any of that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So the one thing that I can look back on is my friends.
Yeah.
And
It's
those
real.
those are the people that are always going to be there.
Yeah, and all you have is like now and maybe tomorrow. But yeah,
Right.
here's to now.
Yeah.
You gotta enjoy the
Ye-
present. That's dope. What else do you want to talk about?
It's hard, man. It's hard. Like dealing with this shit and like staying positive is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's many days that I cried and was like not sure about like what I was going to be doing in the future, if I have a future,
Yeah.
you know. And then all of a sudden my tear duct stopped working, so I couldn't cry anymore. So I had to
Fuck.
figure out something else. You know what I mean? So, just finding a different path in life has been my really difficult to try and figure out, and
Yeah.
I'm still like trying to figure that
Yeah, of
out.
course.
You know what I mean? Because like your purpose in life changes. You
Mhm.
know, and
It's a never-ending journey.
right.
Yeah.
So like I'm just on a journey or a path to like figuring things out and trying to be the best person I can. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and if it's just expanding my mind and my, like dying the smartest man that I can be,
Mhm.
that's what drives me. You know what I mean? Like when I talk to people now and I don't understand what they're saying, I will go and look it up in the dictionary, and I'll like really like in tune to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I think it's important to never stop learning. You know,
I agree.
It's-
Yeah.
it gets a little harder as you get older and away from like school and shit. But the people who don't stop learning new shit tend to be the happiest. You know, they
Right.
keep your brain exercised and learning a new thing and challenging yourself a little bit.
One
That's
of
the
the
move.
big things that I find is like not being closed-minded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always having an open mind. Like, don't ever think that you're the only one that's right.
Yeah,
Like, you don't know
everything.
everything
Yeah, exactly.
by any means.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much knowledge in this world that like you can never ever stop.
Yeah, a little bit of humility goes a long way.
Oh, for
when it
sure,
comes to the
for
brain,
sure, dude. And like just not being negative anyway, like treating people with respect. Like that's what gives me drive now. Is like if somebody can learn from the way that I'm treating others, like then that's good. You know, I'd like to be a good, positive role model
I agree.
at this point, for sure.
Well, I think you are, man. I think without knowing it, you like just the fact that you're doing it, you're living life, and I think it's a matter of like just you can decide to be okay. You know, like in your head every day you can wake up and just okay, everything's okay. You know,
Yeah, and
everything sucks, but everything's okay. You know,
yeah, and that's one other thing that like is really difficult for me. Is like thinking that like I'm okay because like there's so much damage to my brain. Like it's really messed with my nerves and the way that I think about things. Like my anxiety's gone crazy the way I am now.
Yeah.
Like I've never had anxiety before. I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was. Like now I'm like finally starting to understand the other side of the way people think,
Yeah.
like, which is, I think the only good thing that's really ever come out of this is like, I think on other levels that like I would have never thought.
yeah. You think the person who donated that blood was more empathetic than you, and that's what it is, dude?
Yeah, who knows, dude? Honestly,
I hope that worked. Let's see. You think the person that donated that blood was more empathetic, and that's what it is?
yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Honestly, the sad part is I'll never know because, well, I mean, I could find out, but just the fact that
Is that
like,
grandma?
yeah,
Nice.
just the fact that my blood types changed. I can't go to my ancestry.com to figure out who
Mhm.
like I might be able to find my donor through that,
Yeah.
but I'll never be able to find any of my ancestors because
Yeah.
of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's trippy, dude.
But I'd like to be able to go and talk to my donor at some point. You know what I mean? I have to go and go through some hoops like to figure that out at the hospital and stuff. So,
well, we got grandma coming home. I think we did an hour and a half, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
That was
an hour and a half.
That's wild.
Yeah. You did good.
Yeah, if there's anything I'd have to say is, man, don't ever lose the trust in your family, man, because they are the one thing that's always going to be there aside from your friends.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Don't fuck that up.
All right, let's do a little thumbnail here. Scoot up. There we go. What are we doing?
I don't know.
That'll do.